Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's an occasion near and dear to many hearts as local police take to the streets not only to serve and protect, but to honor those the force has lost. Thunder Bay Police marched through the streets today to mark the Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day. Mike Albanese has the story.
The Thunder Bay Police, RCMP, OPP, and the Anishinaabe Police Service all took to the streets today to honor those who gave their lives protecting the citizens of their respective towns. Thunder Bay Police Chief J.P. Levesque spoke about the effect the public had on the walk.
I can't help but be proud. I know as we walk by the intersection, see our people saluting the flags as they go by, watching the columns march in order. It's like I say, it's a solemn occasion, but it's also a very proud moment for me and I'm sure the rest of the members of our service.
Levesque also touched on many effects the parade has, whether it's bringing honor to those fallen, bringing the public closer to the force, and just reminding people the dangers that come with any job or duty, particularly policing.
We're not only here to honor those who've died in the last 12 months and given their lives, but we're also here, it serves as a way to remember that policing is inherently dangerous and that you really have to be particularly careful when you're out in the road dealing in any situation. You just never know.
Amongst the public and the officers were some dignitaries. One in particular was MPP Michael Gravel, who was honored to be able to attend the event. With all the police do to protect the public, he is always happy when this day rolls around and he can pay his respects.
To have this one day a year, which has now been in place for a number of years, to be able to commemorate the extraordinary bravery that is shown by the police force, particularly here in Thunder Bay, is certainly something that I appreciate having a chance to be a part of, and I think the public in general feels the same way.
The parade ended with a memorial service at St. Paul's Anglican Church and will happen again next year on the last Sunday in September. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Mayor Keith Hobbs thinks the city may need to take on some debt to pay for some critical capital projects. Council will receive a report on $148 million worth of strategic infrastructure that the city will try to complete in 4 years. The work includes roads, bridges, facilities, and contributions to things like a new art gallery on the waterfront. Among the big projects are a greenhouse at the conservatory and a conservatory display house. Those costs are pegged at nearly $4 million. The list also includes money for youth centers and additional phases of the event center, including construction costs of $35 million in 2016. Hobbs says lists and price tags like this are what gives mayors headaches, but the city's infrastructure was crumbling.
Look at the Junot Golf Links corridor, for example. That's about a $17 million project, and you're just seeing phase one being completed. It's beautiful, and those projects cost money. So we're looking at all kinds of options. We might have to get some, do some debt, to get these projects done. Don't want to always look at that, but we're in good financial shape in the city.
Council will also consider providing a one-time grant to the Thunder Bay Indian Friendship Center of $57,000. That would go towards purchasing the former Port Arthur Prosvita. It would then be converted into a youth center. Well, if we build it, will it come, or will they come rather? And can a new event center really help bring national and international sporting events to Thunder Bay? Those are questions that have been hotly debated for a number of years now. This past week, a pair of sports tourism experts weighed in on the matter, and they both agree, yes, it can. Sports Alliance Ontario CEO Blair McIntosh was one of several industry experts to speak at a recent sports tourism conference presented by the Canadian Sports Tourism Alliance. He says with adequate accommodations and international airport already in place in Thunder Bay, the only thing that's missing for the city to host events like the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, for example, is an up-to-date sports venue.
That whole theory of build it and they will come, it really does happen. I mean, it has to come with a very strong marketing plan and a long-term marketing plan for the facility. But it's one of those things where a facility like that is certainly going to enhance your abilities and bring it to a whole new level in terms of sport tourism.
If you're looking at it from a quality of life standpoint and what your community can and could be, then it makes all the sense in the world. Because these facilities, if it's managed properly, can be used to the benefit of future generations.
Traer adds, however, that he's not in a position to comment on the best location within the city to build an event center. He says that decision varies from municipality to municipality, and it's based on a number of local factors. Well, the chair of the Scriber Economic Development Committee says that a potential revenue from renewable energy projects is leaking from municipalities. Danny Goodard was before Scriber Council this week discussing a proposed solar installation. He wants to see the township play a larger role in renewable energy initiatives in order to plug that leak. Nate Jones reports.
If the go-ahead is given to the proposed 300 kilowatt solar project, it could be a significant revenue generator for town council. That is, depending on what role Scriber would be playing in the proposed development. The space being looked at is the rooftop of the recreation center.
It's one we're going to study closely. It's much bigger than anything we've done before, and it doesn't include as much return for the township. So the township would simply be renting the space out above the arena.
But according to Economic Development Committee Chair Danny Goodard, there is an opportunity to significantly increase potential revenue on the project. He suggests that a standard lease of the center's roof would not necessarily be in the community's best interest.
The project stands to make $143,000 annually. This, if it was left to a private developer and the roof was leased, let's say, the municipality would only bring in about $10,000 annually.
In order to bring in more money, he says the township should take on the project itself or partner with community stakeholders. This could alleviate capital investment costs outside of grant applications.
Many businessmen that I had talked with over the past 2-3 years had shown interest in investing locally instead of into the stock market because they could actually see their project every day.
Goodhart will be going back to the Economic Development Committee in order to examine the project further. He adds that municipalities such as Scriber need to take ownership of such projects in order to keep the revenue it generates in the community. Nate Jones, TBT News.
Well, meanwhile, as that solar project continues to be developed, a proposed wind farm on Scriber's south side is being delayed. This comes after Energy Minister Bob Chiarelli announced changes to the feed-in tariff program in June. Renewable energy companies are waiting on the province to unveil a new procurement program. The proposed project that would sit at the top of Gwyn Mountain could host between 5 and 10 wind turbines. It would be considered a large development capable of generating over 500 kilowatts of electricity for the grid. Animos Energy, the company responsible for the proposed wind farm, has all its large projects on hold until the new process has been developed. Company President Rob Parsons says that it could be years until construction at the site begins.
We can't really do anything with them until we know what the procurement process is going to be like and what the timing will be. There may be other companies who are not yet involved in Ontario, but seeing the current situation and therefore may decide to look elsewhere.
It appears to be a very viable project, but there's a number of projects competing with it. So should it go ahead, they said that they would be willing to do it, and we would be excited for that opportunity as well.
The new procurement program is to require developers to work directly with municipalities before seeking approval from the Ontario Power Authority. Well, big shoes are being left to fill at the piano bench for the Fort William Male Choir. Diane Crocker, the accompanist of the choir, is retiring after 54 years of tenure behind the piano. A group of friends, family, and neighbors attended an appreciation banquet to honor her. Much was said about Crocker's talent. Amongst that, it was her natural chemistry to feel the pauses and timing of the choir. Since she was part of the choir from her grade 13 year in high school at age 17, the chemistry was phenomenal. Crocker spoke about her decade and a half with the group.
The fellows in the male choir, they're my men of music, and they'll always be my men of music. And they've been really good with me and for me, and this afternoon is just an example of how they've treated me for 54 years.
Crocker plans to spend her newfound free time visiting her 4 grandchildren and traveling. Well, Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Bill Morrow plans to bring forward a private member's bill to increase the opportunity to hunt bears. Morrow feels the time is right to bring back the issue, but he doesn't know exactly what the expanded hunt would entail just yet. For our question of the day, we wanted to know if you thought the spring hunt would be reinstated.
Depends on the bear situation, I guess. If there are too many of them, too little of them. Like, I work in the bush, so I haven't seen many bears at all. They were out more in the spring, but they're pretty lazy in the spring. They're pretty groggy. I don't really know if it's fair to hunt them at that time. They're just hungry, waking up, looking for food. But I don't know what he's going to do, to tell you the truth.
I think there's too many bears out there. And same with deer. There's too many, and so it should be probably expanded.
Well, I guess they are, but I guess if they control it better, maybe, you know what I mean? Because I like animals, so, you know what I mean? I'd rather let them be. But if they get too bad, I guess you have to do something about it, of course, you know what I mean? If they go in people's backyards and things like that.
I don't know. I think as long as the ministry thinks that they're becoming overpopulated and they're entering cities without having the right, needs, if it's before their hibernation, then have to do what you have to do. So if they expand it all